KDP keyword slots. Do you use every character, fill in every slot? Does keyword research have you ready to pull your hair out? Well, today I'm going to make self-publishing books a lot easier by showing you how to fill your keyword slots. So stick around. Hey Right Riders, Keith Wheeler here, and if you want to continue to get all the hints, tips, and tricks on how to make self-publishing easier, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, smash your little bell icon, and make sure that you turn all your notifications on so you get alerted each and every time I put out a new video. So what are keywords? Keywords are basically descriptor words that potential readers will be using to search for your product. Now, keywords can be one word, but the majority of the time you're going to want to use 2 or more words as your keywords. Why? Well, because when you just use one word, the amount of books indexed, that is pulled up in search, will typically be way too big for your book to even be visible. Remember, it's better to be a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big pond. So when you hear me or others refer to a keyword, typically we mean multiple keywords strung together. So where can you put your keywords? Good question. You can put your keywords in your title, your subtitle, your series name, your book description, as well as KDP's 7 keyword slots. Now that said, when it comes to your title, subtitle, series name, and book description, you should only use keywords if they make sense and fit in naturally. Otherwise, it's referred to as keyword stuffing and goes against KDP's terms of service. So how do I find my keywords? Here, let me show you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Amazon.com, but we're going to do it in incognito mode. Now, if you don't know how to do incognito mode, right now I'm in a Chrome browser. You're going to go up to the top corner, go to these dots, and you're going to click on New Incognito Window. If you're using a different browser like Firefox, then they may call it a private window, but it's the same thing. The reason why we do this is when we're doing keyword research, we want to make sure that we are not taking in any bias from the searches that we've personally done on Amazon. So by doing in incognito or private mode, then we're having a completely unbiased search results. So I'm going to search for keywords for an ebook. So I'm going to go to Kindle, go to the Kindle store. Let's say we're going to try to find a children's book for boys. You can go in here and write books for boys. See what pops up. So there's all these different ages. Okay. So these are all things that people have searched for, all keywords, phrases that they have searched for. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to take all of these, and you can either take a screenshot or you can jot them down on a piece of paper, put them in an Excel spreadsheet, whatever you want to do. The closer it is to the top, the more frequently it's searched for. So then we can just click on each one, and this is why you want to either take a screenshot or you want to write it down so you can go back and check it out. And we want to see how competitive it is as well as how profitable it is. So if I click on it, it's going to bring me to the main page. Right here it tells me that this is 1 through 16 of over 20,000 results. This tells me how competitive it is. Now I like a specific keyword that is like 1,000 or less, because the more books that are under that keyword, the harder it is for your book to be seen for it. Because ideally you want your book not only to be on first page placement, but you also want it to be at the top, because majority of the time the first one is what people are going to pick. Now this is a sponsored ad, which means these are ads that people are running. So the first actual book shown is right here. So you really want your book, if this is the keyword that you want to use, you want your book to be right here, to be first page placement towards the top. To find out how profitable it is, then we need to look at the BSR, or the bestseller rank. Now, normally you'd have to click on this particular book, scroll down to the product description area, and it will show you the page count as well as what the BSR is, the bestseller rank. But if you use the free Chrome extension called DS Amazon Quick View, then you're going to get all that information right here. That's what this right here is. So I don't have to click on anything. It saves me so much time. It's right here for me to see. So I can see that this book is 1,194 in all of paid Kindle store. So this sells hundreds of copies a day. Also with DS Amazon Quick View, if I hover over the book, it will give me the entire product description area. So again, it shows me the page count, it shows me the publisher, the publication date, as well as the categories that it's under. So if you see a book that's similar to you and it's within a realistic range that you think that your book could possibly rank at as far as a BSR is concerned, then you can look at what categories they're in and see if maybe you would rank well for those as well. But right now we're not worried about categories, we're searching for keywords. So I'm scrolling down, and as far as keywords are concerned, I really like keywords to be between 10,000 and 100,000. As you can see, these are really high. Well, some of them like 908. Yeah, I think this is a little bit too competitive for me at least. And again, it depends on if you're going to be running ads to it as well. 392. Yeah, this is pretty competitive. Okay. We found the books for boys aged 9 to 12 is not what we want. Again, we wouldn't even click on this if this is an age range that we're looking at. So let's say that my book is a children's book and it's more like for toddlers. Okay. So let's do, well, let's go to the books for boys and see what comes in the toddler age range. I really don't see any. Okay. So let's do for toddlers. Okay. So again, the number one search right now is books for toddlers 1 to 3. Let's just do the first one. Okay, so this is less competitive than the other one because there's only 10,000 instead of 20,000. So that's good. That's promising. Let's see. This ranking isn't really that great. 684,000. Okay, 18,000, that's good. 9,000, that's good. And again, keeping in mind the type of book as well. We're looking at Kindle books. So if you see anything that says like hardcovers or spiral bound or board books, you're just looking for Kindle books. 2,700, that's actually a little bit more competitive than I'd like. You'd have to get a lot of sales in order to be able to be at the top of this page. Okay, so then 100,000, that's not bad. Okay, 300 sounds. So it looks like they're all over the board. So this is one, wow, 33. Oh, it's a sponsored ad. So this is an ad they're running. Okay, so we definitely, see, this is the paperback. So we're not even going to pay attention to that. Paperback shouldn't be showing up. That's a board book. Okay, so here we are getting a Kindle editions. Okay, so they're kind of all over the place. Yeah, I'd consider this as a keyword if it's relevant to the book. So I'm going to jot this keyword down. So then what else can we look for? We can look for, let's look, if I go back to the toddlers, let's look at 2 to 4. And again, and this is all you have to do for keyword research. This is the first part of it. The first part is finding your keywords. We're not going to pay attention to this because it's a sponsored ad, so that doesn't count. Okay, so again, we've got the 18,000, 27,000. Again, I'm just looking at the rankings right here. This one says rank not found. It means it hasn't sold yet. Let's see, when did this? Hover over and see when it launched. June 7th, so today's June 8th. So this literally just published yesterday. So that's probably why there's no sales. Okay, 19,000, 38,000. All right, so these are selling really well as well. We definitely would consider this. What about children's books about, how about bees? Well, look at this. The competition's only 529. That's really, really good. Let's see how these books are selling. Okay, that's sponsored, so we don't care about that. That's sponsored. Okay, here we go. 34,000. That's good. 129,000. That's okay. 377. That's great. 77,000. That's not even a children's book. I don't get that one, but so this looks like a really good keyword to go for. So you just go through all of the possible ideas that you have for your keywords and you do it through here. Yes, it is a bit time consuming, but you can absolutely get it done. Unfortunately, you don't really see how much people are making by these, but you can kind of get estimates based on their ranking. Now, if you'd like a cheat, here's what I use. I actually use something called Publisher Rocket. So Publisher Rocket and we go to keyword research. Just click on here. You can either pick ebook or book. I'm going to stick with ebook, and I just type in, we'll just type in children's book, and I click Go Get 'em Rocket. And what it's doing is it's going through Amazon. Remember the drop down, all the different items that came through suggested search. It goes through each of those, and then it goes through and it does the same thing, but it adds an A to it, captures all those, adds a B to it, captures all those. So these are everything we've got, and we can just scroll through and find ones that we think will be relevant. Children's book, ages 1 to 3. So if I click Analyze, here we go. It tells us how many competitors we have using that particular keyword phrase, the average monthly earnings from the top 10 books using that phrase. If there are Google searches, it will show you how many. It shows you an estimate of how many Amazon searches per month, and then it gives you something called a competitive score. The competitive score is a score that is calculated within Publisher Rocket, and it bases it on a 0 to 100 scale. The higher the number, more competitive it is, which means the harder it will be for you to rank on first page placement. I always shoot for a number that's 40 or below. So this tells me, yes, there are some searches, and I usually like 1,000 searches or more. I like 1,000 competitors or less. And obviously I love that average monthly earnings. And if you can get Google search, that's great. But this just tells me that, yeah, there's a lot of competitors, but it also tells me it's super, super competitive by this competitor score. You can have ones that have a lot of competitors using the keyword phrase, but it could be old books, it could be books that just aren't relevant, and so that's why that competitive score is so, so important. So I can go through here and just find ones that I think are relevant to my book, and I can click on it, click Analyze, and see exactly if it's a keyword that I want to use. So let's just say children's book age 3. Now, as you can see, there's a lot more competitors in it. They're making on average less money. There's less Amazon searches, but the competitive score is less. It's still higher than what I'd like, but it's still more attainable than if you get to something that's 85%. Again, I try to shoot for 40% or lower. Now that we have a list of potential profitable keywords, what do we do with them? As I stated earlier, if they make sense, you can try to work them into your title, subtitle, series name, or book description, but only if they make sense. Majority of the time, you're going to be using those keyword phrases that you found and putting them in your 7 keyword slots. Now, KDP gives you 7 keyword slots with up to 50 characters allowed per slot. Well, that's a total of 350 characters that we can use for our profitable keywords. Okay, that's great and all. So how do I fill out my keyword slots? Well, real quick, I want to make sure that we all understand a phrase called keyword stemming. Others may call it long tail keywords, but basically it's where you take multiple keywords and phrases and combine them. So for example, if I searched up and I found that some of the profitable phrases are books for boys, books for 2 to 4, children's books for toddlers, then I could keyword stem them together or make a long tail phrase like children's books for toddler boys 2 to 4. See what I did there? Now generally there are 2 philosophies, if you will, when it comes to filling out your keyword slots. There's a group of authors that say you want to use up every character possible. So use all 350 characters if you can. The other group of authors say just to use keywords that pertain to your specific book and nothing else. It's okay to leave characters open. So which method is right? Well, to be honest, both. Dave Chesson, otherwise known as Kindlepreneur, ran an experiment recently where he used data from over 120 different books using a mix of both fiction and nonfiction, and he found that doing a hybrid approach of these 2 methods actually works best. I'll include a link to his full article in the description below. Trust me, it's a great read. You see, here's how Amazon works. Amazon takes everything that you put into your keyword slots and does what's called a broad match, meaning they rearrange the words as well as use plurals of them, and you'll be indexed for all those words in combination. Now, if you're wondering what indexing is, basically when you do a search and you see 1 of 16 out of 50,000, those 50,000, that's indexing. That means that 50,000 products were indexed for that keyword phrase. Now that said, the more exact your phrase is, the higher you will rank for it. So when someone puts in a search in the search bar and they put in a phrase, if you have that exact phrase, you're going to rank higher than if you just had those words mixed amongst your slots. Now, you know me, I had to test this out for myself. So I took Dave's findings and implemented them into some of my books. I wanted to test beyond the fiction and nonfiction that he did. I wanted to test different types of books and even different types of genres. So I tried it on some of my children's books, my puzzle books, my journals, my coloring books, short reads, and even my young adult novel. And you know what I found? To no surprise of mine, it really did work. About 67% of the books that I updated did receive more sales after I updated the keyword methodology. As you know, I have multiple types of books within some of my niches, and books that I updated with this keyword methodology within that same niche sold better than the other books I have in that niche. And I did that on purpose to make sure that I didn't just, if the niche happened to be getting more sales, that it would skew my data. I made sure that I kept some in that niche unchanged. Now, while I can't guarantee these exact results for you, I think the overall results speak for themselves. Okay, so what is the hybrid method and how should I fill out my keyword slots? Well, you're going to do 3 steps. Number 1, do your keyword research and determine your profitable keywords and keyword phrases, like I showed you earlier. Number 2, you want to use 3 or 4 of the 7 slots for those specific exact keyword phrases. Don't add any other words in that box. Don't worry about filling in all the extra characters. It's okay. I like to call these my exact keyword slots. Next, you're going to use the remaining slots that you have open and fill them with the rest of the keywords and phrases that you found for your book. These are what I call broad keyword slots. So try to fill in all 50 characters in each of those remaining slots. Now, a little side note. Another thing that Dave's experiment determined was that while repeating words in your keywords doesn't help it, it also doesn't hurt either. So if you have a specific word that you've already used in your broad keyword slots, but it's proven to be profitable as an exact keyword match, then don't be afraid to use it in both places. So I could use the long tail phrase that we came up with before, children's books for toddler boys 2 to 4, and I could put that in one of my slots that I was using to fill up, one of my broad keyword slots, but still use children's books about bees as one of my exact keyword slots. So even though I'm using children's books in both places, it fits, it's okay. Now, while you're in your metadata updating the keyword slots, you might want to take a look at your book description. Can you fit in organically some of those keywords that you didn't put in your keyword slots? Click on this video right here, and I'll show you more ways to make your book description pop that can help you sell more books. Or you can check out this video that YouTube picked out just for you. I'll catch you next video, and remember to write right.